Right, guys, she's back. She's ready for action. Do actually have myself a mug this time. A What the L mug. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What the L. And what the L has been going on. There's a lot that has been going on. Firstly, I'm brunette. I know. I was blonde in the last video. I'm brunette now. Didn't think that the hair colour change would affect me as much as it has. The second I got it back brunette, I felt like me again. And I know people just say, oh, it's just hair. It doesn't just feel like hair. It feels like I've gone back to my roots, literally and emotionally. I feel more calmer, more grounded, and maybe a version of me that feels a little bit more natural. I didn't actually realise how much I needed it. Brunette L. She's back and I'm very happy with it. Now, onto something a lot more fun. I haven't filmed an episode since Amsterdam. So you guys don't know about Amsterdam. You don't know anything that happened in Amsterdam. Well, I will tell you. Because, you know, it was one of those trips where you just come home and your soul feels refreshed. My cheeks hurt from laughing so much. There was a day where we literally laughed non-stop for about 4 or 5 hours. And one of our favourite places was literally opposite our hotel. So we went to Hill Street Cafe. If you know, you know, because it is a cafe that plays drum and bass, literally just drum and bass. And we walked in there and we felt like we belonged. We walked around Vondel Park and had such a lovely, lovely time. And for some reason, we decided to start narrating the animals like we were part of a wildlife documentary. Every duck, every bird, they had a backstory. Then, literally, out of nowhere, a bird shat on my arm. And then all of a sudden, Maui's going, whoa, look at that bird on a ship. As if it was just like floating on a cruise. Honestly, I think the birds in Amsterdam were creating more memories than we were. And then on the way back from Vondel Park, we walked down the most bougiest street of Amsterdam where all the designer shops are, and it just looked fake. Everything looked fake. And they have these tiny, tiny cars. So I literally went up to it and was like, oh, I could lift that up with one hand. I was like a muscle machine. Don't worry, I didn't even try and attempt it, but it looked as if I could try and pick up this car. It looked like a toy. All the houses, it looked really toy-like. Genuinely stood there at the car. Oh, do you reckon I could lift that up with one hand? Like, we were convinced we had that much strength. We also visited Zaandam on our last day, which was really, really lovely. A place that I've never been to in Amsterdam before. We got the train there, and they have a hotel that literally looks like it's built like Lego. So that was cool. That was nice to go and see. And then we walked up and down High Street before returning back to obviously our favourite place, Cafe Street Blues. Was it Hill Street Cafe Blues? Blue Street Cafe? Something like that. Anyway, drum and bass. That's all I need to say. We ate really nice foods. We ate all the sweet foods. And my favourite over there, they don't sell them here except a Haribo version, but there's these peach rings. If you know about the peach rings. I don't know what brand they are. I think they probably are Dutch because you can't get them here, but they are the best peach rings ever. But honestly, best holiday, best way to spend Maui's 30th, and I can't wait to go back again this year. And while all of that has been amazing, I do just also want to be honest and talk about where my head has been recently, because mentally things have felt a lot harder. And I've noticed as well that my mental health takes a massive, massive dip around certain points of my cycle. So the week before I'm due to start, I am quite low, I have no energy. And then the week after, I have all this energy, and that's probably the best week that I have out of the month. The rest of the month just feels like I'm just surviving, not thriving. The week before my period just gets really dark. My thoughts become dark, get overwhelmed very easily. Emotional, irritable, anxious. Everything just feels so much harder than it should. And even when I know that it's hormonal, it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. I constantly have about 50 thoughts that are going on up there at one time. My brain is sometimes like a computer tabs. There's multiple tabs open and I don't even know where the music's coming from. It's exhausting. I can get overly stimulated very easily. And it's just like there's constant noise in my head. And as I'm aging, I say that, but I'm not even really that old. But as I'm getting older, I have noticed that my brain is becoming more chaotic to the point where I possibly do think I have traits of ADHD. I am just undiagnosed, but there's definitely something there. I don't think my brain is like the brain of what a normal person's brain would be. I'm not sat here trying to diagnose myself. I don't need a label. It's just making me question whether there's a little bit more going on. Because for years, I've told myself and had others told me that I'm disorganized, I'm dramatic, I'm too emotional. That's just because my brain works differently. And I think from the outside, I look absolutely fine. I look like I've got my shit together. But on the inside, I really do struggle. And I think that's the reality for a lot of people as well, if I'm honest. You can look fine on the outside while feeling completely overwhelmed on the inside. And I think talking about it matters as well, because if you are listening to this and you do feel like this, believe me, you are not the only one. Actually, that kind of links me onto something that I have been reflecting on a little bit lately, deciding to leave my nursing role permanently, because we're coming up to a year where I decided I no longer wished to nurse permanently. It was getting to the point that this time last year, I was a shell of a person and I was struggling to care and provide empathy for patients when I couldn't even care or provide empathy for myself. It was such a huge leap of faith for me, leaving a secure career to do something completely unknown and completely terrifying, and basically taking a risk on yourself. And feeling the way that I was a year ago, it was a horrible feeling. It was not a pleasant feeling, but I had nothing left in me anymore. I had nothing left. Yes, I do still pick up the odd bank shift, but it's on my terms and it's around my routine. I'm able to do it when I'm feeling mentally able. That's made such a difference. Leaving was risky. There still is uncertainty. I still have self-doubt. I still don't know what path I'm going down. But do I regret choosing myself? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And honestly, I don't think you should ever regret putting yourself first. As selfish as it might seem to some people, and as delusional as some people might think that your dreams are, if they are real to you, follow those dreams, and literally who gives a shit what people think. That's all I have to say. For me, it's been worth it. Now, should we move on to what the hell was I thinking? What the hell was I thinking? Okay, we're going to keep this one short and sweet. So, I dated a guy. I start off every story like that. I once dated a guy. Anyway, dated this guy. He couldn't drive. Not that that's the issue here, but the issue was that his life goal was to actually get the pink license rather than actually getting a car once he'd passed his test. And somehow I was sat there thinking, yeah, this sounds great. Wow. I'll just be the driver. Honestly. What the hell was I thinking? And finally, I have chosen a question that one of you guys has asked me. And this question, I think it's pretty personal. Do you rely on other people to boost your sense of self-worth? Personally, I feel a little bit attacked because honestly, the answer is yes. But I'm becoming much more aware of it. I've been spending a lot more time on my own recently. I'm trying to understand who I am outside of everybody else. What I've come to realize is that I am basically just a woman with a load of energy, and I'm a bit chaotic. And I still have a lot of things to work through, but I'm aware of it. Actually due to start cat therapy. No, not cat therapy where you literally have pussy cats on you and you're stroking them. No, not that type of cat therapy. Another form of talking therapy, which I think will be beneficial because it will help understand how I form relationships, and it will also help me have a better understanding of the relationship that I have with myself. Because honestly, I don't have a great relationship with myself, and I haven't done for a very long time, and I have just done things that I've needed to do in this world in order to survive. I'm trying to learn to believe things without needing constant reassurance from people. So yeah, that's what's been going on. There's been a lot of highs, a lot of honesty. There's been a lot of chaos. There's been a lot of learning. But I'm still figuring it out. If you are too, then we are definitely in this together. So thank you for listening to an episode of What the Owl, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.